All right, guys, we're gonna jump back into another pod here. We just finished up some games this week. City, Arsenal both decided to. They both finished games up this week that didn't really decide which way the Prem's gonna go. But we want to talk about some of the results and some of the transfers that City made this week. First, January, the window opened and City was super active. They went and got a really great winger from Bournemouth, Semenyo. And then on top of that, this week they picked up. Unfortunately, both their defenders got injured this week with both season-ending injuries. So they had to go get they're both out for the rest of the year.
Gavardio and Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
So now they had to go get a nice Rolex of a friggin' defender and Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace. But let me ask Ralph, what do you think of the two pickups that you guys got for January?
Well, I love Semenyo. He's great on the wing, big body, and he's got great footwork. Gahey, I still haven't seen him. I didn't see a lot of him at Crystal Palace because I didn't watch a lot of Crystal Palace games.
Didn't you play them 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, did we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't see him.
Well, you played them, and we watched the game.
We watched it.
Yes, we did.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess he didn't do much if I didn't talk about him.
I think he's one of the more composed, calm defenders, and I think it's gonna help your defense out, especially in the a lot of your goals.
He also said that about Kuchinov when he came over. And
no, I said he was very aggressive.
Been a very big question mark.
You don't think so? I thought he's been one of your better defenders this year.
No, not overall. He's good, but not overall. Nico O'Reilly has been better than him. Young gun,
Nico O'Reilly.
Yep.
Funny. Jazz, what do you think of the two pickups that Man City picked up?
Well, Semenyo, the first game he did in debut, they beat the team 10-1, and he scored. He did pretty good, and I feel like he'll do pretty good at City. Hopefully, he gets the playing time that he deserves over there. Yeah. And the defender, there's not much I can say about him. I haven't seen.
You didn't watch him either.
I haven't seen or heard about him enough.
Yeah, me either. But Chuck here, he knows about him, and you've seen him plenty of times, I guess. How many Crystal Palace games have you watched, Chucky?
Not only that, he's the captain of he's one of the co-captains on that England squad. He's not only one of the best defenders.
English?
Mark Gahey, yes, he is. He's one of the co-captains of that English squad. He's the captain of Crystal Palace. The reason why they won, not only did they win the tournament against Man City, he was one of the focal points of that defense. I mean, he's been an anchor for them. He's calm, composed. He can get the ball moving quickly. He's physical in the air, and I think that's a lot of times that's what City needs. And especially because he'll be helping out Nico O'Reilly, because I'm pretty sure Nico O'Reilly was the person that led that goal last game or the game before. He led up that goal on the backside. But yeah, so the defender,
Rico Lewis.
Rico Lewis also gave up a goal.
I don't know
but Nico
why
O'Reilly also has given up a couple goals this year.
He's been great.
He's been average. I think.
I watched the City games. He's been great. He's been solid back there.
Solid.
You have he's 19, I think.
Yeah, very.
You have a 19-year-old who can barely play any defense.
Nico O'Reilly is a lot bigger, and he's come through the academy. So
how is that his fault that he's bigger?
It's just let's remember that City's problem is not so much their offense; it's their defense. And Nico O'Reilly's a part of their defense.
Yes.
Same with Diaz.
And their midfielders don't get back, so.
Diaz and some of the other guys. Arsenal didn't make any moves this month so far. I think that's actually going to cost them in the long run. But we were right about something, Jazz. We did say that we talked about Pep constantly makeshifting his 11, and ultimately they got beat by an interim manager and Michael Carrick. Not even a guy that's going to be for United for just finishing out the year.
How many minutes did he play? Did he score?
Michael Carrick?
Yeah.
He's the coach of Man United.
He
also is one of the best. He's actually one of the best Man United midfielders of all time, Michael Carrick. He's considered for many is the guy that once they lost him, now Roy Keane, the midfielder they had before, they thought when they lost Roy Keane that was going to be the end of United. But it was actually Michael Carrick that was like their big star for United. Once Roy Keane left, they kind of had like a small gap, but Michael Carrick came in and he was the big player from United.
Yeah, not to be confused with Roy Kent from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, even though I think that's what the character is based on. But Arsenal didn't make any moves this month, and I think that is going to have a problem because now they're running into problems with just running Declan Rice into the ground, running a lot of their players. It feels like Arteta doesn't want to make... We have a coach in Pep that's making too many changes, and then we have another coach in first place, but is making not enough substitutions and not actually letting his offense, get breaks. He's just running them into the ground. But we were right about the Pep constantly changing that 11.
Yeah, what do you got to say about that, Jez? I know you really fought me last podcast about, Pep having always different players out there, and I'm like, well, that's what makes it work. You said that's gonna kill him, and that's why City's gonna lose. So you were right. What do you have anything to say about that?
Well, sometimes, it's just not... Pep stings eventually. He's going to run out of ideas, and he's just going to throw random people on the field, put them in different positions that they aren't supposed to be in. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really I can say, but that I was right.
Was I wrong?
Yeah. Really wrong.
It's one game, but it did happen that game.
But we predicted it because,
Yeah, you did.
Does Pep make the change in his 11 again next week? Or does he
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, he does it every game to try to throw off the people, but to throw off the other team, but he might be throwing off his own like process of trying to win the league by doing it as well.
Now let's ask Ralph, who do you think becomes the change in that 11 for Man City?
Not even a question. Rico Lewis playing right back is just insane. He's not fast. He's not great on his feet. And he's too small to be playing right back. Did you see the goal that they made against him? They just pushed him out of the way and then scored a goal. He's too small. So he's definitely the guy you want to take out of there. I know he's not going to take out Bernie because he loves Bernie, but I would.
Who replaces Rico Lewis? There's a guy actually coming back. Let's see if Ralph remembers who's coming back from AFCON.
From AFCON, you have... Only guy I have is Marmouche.
Nori is also.
Nori, he did play a little bit last game.
Yeah, so you should be able to use him.
Yeah, but you have either him or... I don't really like him too much, but Mateus Nunes at least is a bigger body back there. So that's why I think absolutely needs to go is Rico Lewis.
Alrighty. And like I said before, City's trying to make their way to try to overthrow Arsenal's first place standing. But like Ralph was saying, that Arsenal's going to run out of ways to score. And when you look at that, it was 0-0 against Forest. Granted, Forest being one of the lower seeds too as well. Like, if Arsenal can't score against a team that low on the table, what happens when they, other teams are watching that? If Forest can do it, why can't the Spurs do it? Why can't Newcastle do it to them? This is when it's going to become a factor that Arteta is not really thinking of changing up any of his tactics. He's doing the same thing week in, week out, and I think he's run out of ideas. What were you thinking, Rob?
Well, last podcast you said he was the greatest, and they had all these great things going.
Let me stop. I never said he was the greatest. I can't stand the coach. I can't stand the team. I said they win games by just being scrappy. I never said any of them are great in any way. I think they're just a scrappy team that just scores off of corners.
Yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention Bukayo Saka. He's been great. Yeah, I think he's been great.
I don't think he's been very good. I think the biggest person that you can look at on that Arsenal team that's really made a difference is Gabby. I think it's absolutely just
Who?
Gabriel.
Oh,
Gabriel. But I think Gabriel's been probably their biggest thank goodness he came back from injury, because not having him on that team, you could feel it in the corners. And every corner you see him. It's not they don't ever show anybody else. They don't show Zubamendi. They don't show anybody else. They show him more than they show their own striker for Arsenal. Gabriel has actually been the player that's every time there's a corner or free kick, he's in there battling. And that's not just on the offense, and the defense as well. That Arsenal team is dangerous with him being on the field. But like Ralph was saying, that they were going to run out of ways of scoring. I think Ralph was right in the fact that now it looks like Arsenal should have made a move in January. But look they kind of already blew their entire budget on Eze, and they got that defender from Ecuador, Hincapié.
Yeah.
They used money on him. I mean, you spent all that money on Victor Gilchrist from Sporting, and he hasn't given you
you were big on that guy, remember?
Not even a quarter of what he should have.
You were big, or were you big on Gilchrist?
No.
Was he the guy that did that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
He should have stayed at Sporting.
It's an easier league. I mean, and you can run through people. You can't run through people, especially a Newcastle, even a Forest team with Murillo. There's some big dudes in the Premier League. You can't say the same about the Portuguese league. And I think it finally caught up to them. Yeah, there's a lot of big guys in there. But yeah, Arsenal I think they made a big mistake by not going into the transfer market. There's still time, but this is going to be, it almost feels like who wants to win the Premier League? Because neither of the two teams actually
it's a long season.
Yeah, it looks like no team. And we have to mention, not only did Arsenal draw 0-0 and City lose 2-0, but we also have to remember Villa lost to Everton 1-0. Crazy. It just feels like this year it's just like whoever finds form at the last minute can pull this off. But we also have to remember that Arsenal does have a little cushion.
7 points now, right?
7 points, yeah. 7 points.
What do you think about your Villa team going down?
Well,
I mean, we didn't predict anything, so you didn't say, oh yeah, they're gonna kill the next game or this and that, but they still lost. They could have made up 3 points.
Well, sometimes, Aston Villa, like I said, when we talked about them, they have some good players and bad players, which is a good balance, but but it could be that they put, they just, I don't know what to say, I mean, you never know.
I mean, you just lose games, you just tie games,
you never know with the Villa. You never know what can happen with them. Well, they had a 9-win winning streak. Now they lost. I mean, you're always gonna lose, but you just never know what can happen to a team in a week.
And you were big on Villa. Do you think they have another 9-game win streak in them where they can go, or do you think they're gonna fall off?
Well, maybe they can have not a 9-game streak, but at least 2 or 3 at least. I mean, there's nothing.
Well, they got Eddie back there, so he's a big wallet. Stop.
Well, they have him, but you'll also need to get defenders that can help him. You need the midfield.
Yeah, but they're not in the transfer window, are they? Are they making any moves?
No, they aren't either.
No, Villa's not a team that has the same capital as Arsenal and City. They can't just they're almost playing by the same rule as some of the lower league teams. They have to drop a player and then they can have a little bit of money to go get someone. They have to swap players in and out to make sure that they get. Yeah, their budget is very tight, and credit them for even staying. Being in the top 3, and they have a good cushion. They're going to be in Champions League next year. But I think Villa losing this game was really hard on them because their legs are starting to fade as well, and they just don't have the same firepower as an Arsenal or a City. Even though Arsenal doesn't have a crazy amount of firepower, but they have quality all over the pitch. Villa's playing with a couple guys that they're good in little stretches throughout the year, but they're not going to always show up on the board there. So, But yeah, I think this year just shows how great the Premier League, all the teams are, because you can lose to a Wolves, and you can beat a City. The Premier League I think is a very strong league, and I think it just shows that, especially this year, that no easy games each week, no matter how you look at it. You can think you're like, oh yeah, I gotta play Wolves this week, and then you get beat by them. So
Especially if you don't play at home, it's just a lot harder.
yeah. But yeah, that was this week on the Prem race. So we'll check it out next week and see if any crazy changes or even a transfer comes in, especially from Arsenal.